Stuff happens in Venom. It's just nonsense. Just a whole bunch of nonsense is going on. We in.
Oh, we in?
We in right now.
Oh, right now. Let's do it.
This is happening.
There's construction workers right outside our window.
I mean, nothing we can do about it.
That's true.
They're going to be
We could
working.
kill them.
That would fit in line with our episode of today, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah, it would. If we
Spoilers.
If we ate
Venom.
their heads off.
The people
That
have
would line up
spoken.
really well with this episode.
People have spoken. We had to go see Venom.
Yeah. You kind of like doomed
Yeah,
yourself
I
to
probably
that, right?
I realized that
You kind of
too late.
You put that out there into the world and said, "Hey, internet."
I trusted the internet to do the right thing, and of course they did the opposite.
Yeah.
So from henceforth,
The fact
my
that you
opinion
might
shall not be known for polls.
you having faith in the internet is a problem.
I'm an optimist.
I'm a realist.
Yeah, hey, works out better for you.
But spoiler episode for Venom.
Yeah, you want the deets?
Yeah.
All right,
give
so
them to me.
Venom, directed by Ruben Fleischer. I don't really know how to say it. Director of Zombieland and Gangster Squad.
He directed Zombieland.
I like Zombieland, dude. Zombieland's
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I never saw Gangster Squad.
Huh.
I saw Venom, though. Written by 3 writers. I got 3 writers for you.
Okay.
The first is Jeff Pinker, who was on the writing team for Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, The Dark Tower, and of all projects to have been involved in, to invite back, he was one of the writers on The Amazing Spider-Man 2. The really bad one.
Is that the one with the Shocker or whatever? The
Electro? Jamie
Yeah.
Foxx's Electro?
Shocker.
Continuing a theme of lead characters doing weird voices.
Did he do a weird voice? I never
Oh,
actually
yeah.
saw him.
He was super weird. Yeah.
Should I watch it?
Nope. It sucks.
All right.
Yeah.
Easy enough.
They squeezed Dane DeHaan's Green Goblin at the end for no reason. This is not spoilers Amazing Spider-Man 2. This is spoilers Venom.
Okay.
Second writer, Scott Rosenberg, also a member of the Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle writing team. He wrote Kangaroo Jack. He wrote Gone in 60 Seconds and High Fidelity, both with a writing partner. And he wrote by himself Con Air.
So that's not bad.
I mean, Kangaroo Jack is one of those movies where when I was a kid, I loved it, but I feel like it probably sucks.
It's probably awful.
Probably completely horrible.
Gone in 60 seconds. It was a pretty.
You
sexy
know that
movie.
porn exists.
It has to.
It
right?
has to.
It has to. And it was such a sexy movie to begin with.
Yeah. But yeah, that one was with a pair. High Fidelity was with a pair, but Con Air was all him.
I like Con Air, but it's weird. Con Air, also weird voice in Con Air. Nick Cage, his performance. You've seen Con Air, right? Give me that bunny.
Probably, but I don't really remember it.
Give me that bunny.
All right, I got one more. Final writer, her name is Kelly Marcel. She was the writer for 50 Shades of Grey, the movie, the screenplay. Part of a writing duo for Saving Mr. Banks. And she has kind of an upcoming interesting movie on her docket. She's writing another, we were talking about Disney spinoffs recently on the podcast, and she is writing the Cruella movie. It's just called Cruella. It's a prequel starring Emma Stone.
Could you have any worse of a credit on your
Then 50 Shades of Grey?
than 50 Shades of Grey? Yeah.
Maybe not. It's pretty bad. And that's like, she had like almost no other writing credits. So she's 1 for 3. Because
What's
this is
the one
Saving
that-
Mr.
what's the
Banks.
one that-
Wasn't Saving Mr. Banks supposed to be pretty good?
I think he got nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah, it's the one where Tom Hanks plays Walt Disney.
Yeah.
And Emma Thompson is in it.
Mm-hmm.
Or was it
Dude, they're
Leah Thompson?
no, not Leah Thompson.
No, Emma Thompson. Yeah, I got it right.
But like, I get. You know how I have that like Nick Nolte
Yeah,
trio that I always get confused. Like, there's another one with old white women that I get that it just it's like Emma Thompson's up there, and then I can't think of the Who's Emma Roberts?
Emma
younger.
Roberts
She's
was on
younger.
Nickelodeon. Yeah.
Maybe I'm just blending the names together.
Emmas, all the Emmas. Emma Stone, Emma Watson, Emma Roberts, Emma Thompson.
This is a shitty episode so far.
All right,
let's continue to the. Let's get to
You
the
want the
meat.
synopsis?
Yeah, go ahead,
All right,
give it to
so the official synopsis for this film is: when Eddie Brock acquires the powers of a symbiote, he will have to release his alter ego, Venom, to save his life. Like my Venom voice? Mm-hmm. That's pretty good, right?
It was a pretty good Venom voice.
Thanks.
Wait, can you do the Tom Hardy voice?
I don't feel
Is the
so
thing.
good.
I don't feel so good.
You guys,
But it was more. It was like, dude, it was more whiny than that. Well, I'm gonna get into my.
all right. Actors. I
Go
only
ahead.
put 3 because fuck it. Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock and the voice of Venom.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know who Tom Hardy is, fix yourself. But
Yeah.
Inception, Dark Knight Rises, Mad Max Fury Road,
And-
Oscar nominated for The
And
Revenant.
if you think you don't know who Tom Hardy is, Google him, and you'll be like, oh,
yeah, you'll be like, oh,
that's who
that
Tom Hardy
dude.
is.
Yeah, he's in fucking everything. Michelle Williams as Anne Weying, a 4-time Oscar nominated actress.
Asterisk.
Asterisk. This movie is an asterisk on her resume.
Yeah.
She's Blue Valentine, Manchester by the Sea, My Week
What
with
this
Marilyn.
what this movie did
Greatest
to
Showman?
Michelle Williams' career is what steroids did to Barry Bonds' career.
I don't think that's true.
Tainted it.
I don't. Oh, okay. Tainted it. Okay. Not ended it, but tainted it. Okay.
Didn't improve it.
Yeah, that doesn't
Anyway.
work at all because he got way better after he took steroids.
Yeah.
And he was already great. Anyway, I put one more.
Or did he just
Okay, stop.
sustain his same level of
Dude, I don't know
ability?
anything about baseball. I don't know. Riz Ahmed as Carlton Drake
Mm-hmm.
and Riot. You may know him from Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, or his great performance in the film Nightcrawler with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yes.
Yeah. Riz Ahmed is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Also a rapper known as MC Riz.
I didn't.
Good rapper.
I've never listened to his rap.
I've only listened to
To
his,
his rap music.
Hamilton soundtrack song that he was
All right.
on.
So how much did you actually like this movie? I
Not
mean,
not
Can
much.
I guess? Can I guess?
Not much.
On a scale of 1 to 5?
No, you know the official scale.
No, I don't. I constantly
It's
forget
1
it.
to 10, 5 is average.
Okay. They're already arbitrary to begin with, but I would say that you probably think it's a 2.
That's too
Too
low.
harsh? Too
That's
harsh?
too low. Because
3?
there's some redeemable things.
Okay.
Like it looks good.
Mhm.
It looks very good.
Mhm.
Tom Hardy's in it. He's there. He's on the screen.
Uh-huh.
It's not necessarily him, but he's on the screen.
All right, so how should we dive into this? Should we go into the positives, negatives? I'm not sure how much I'm going to spiel is the thing, because I did a lot of research last night and I ended up in like a rabbit hole of my own thoughts about this movie and stuff. And I'm not sure how much I should go into it.
I don't know how much this kind of movie can make you think about.
I don't know.
There's like nothing going on.
Weird shit can be really thought provoking to me.
I guess.
You know, it does like something
All right,
doesn't have to
let's
be
be
good in order for it
nice.
to
Let's be
thought-provoking.
positive and lead off with things that we liked.
Okay.
I liked the teaser at the end of the movie for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
That was the best part.
You wait until after the credits, you will get to see like a maybe 5-minute teaser scene.
It's fucking good.
It's fucking awesome.
It's like it's really kinetic. It's
Ooh,
fun.
this shit
Like
is
you get this
beautiful.
like the pacing was really good in that action sequence.
Mm-hmm.
Like it has this like level of humor that's really good.
Yep.
It looked like a Pixar
yeah,
short.
it has
almost.
very unique visual style, which we already knew.
Oh, yeah,
but
so it didn't look
there's
like a Pixar short. It felt like a Pixar.
There's parts where they break it to make it look like a comic book page, which is really cool, and then it continues into motion.
And that's another with the animation style. I don't know if you were looking at the light sources on the screen,
Mm-hmm.
right? It looks it's almost exemplified by the light sources in every
Yeah.
shot. That sort of comic book style, because you can see the dots
Yes.
as if it were like a comic book.
Yep. Yeah,
image.
it looks beautiful. I caught something too because the trailer played before the movie. We get that amazing color palette for Miles' New York with the blues and the reds. There's like a quick shot of Gwen's New York, and it's like purple. So they have this unique color palette for the different universes. I think that's super cool.
Oh, okay. So that's how. All
yeah.
right. That's
It's
interesting.
really cool. But I mean, all jokes aside, that literally was the best part of the whole experience. Things about actual Venom that I liked. You go first. Like I said, it looked
okay.
good. The effects were good.
I would say first and foremost, this movie is interesting. You might disagree, okay? But I think that movie is interesting. I would rather see a dozen movies like Venom than one Set It Up.
Nah, hell no. That's a no from me, dog.
So
That's a no from me, dog.
Really I mean, you really enjoy
Zoe Deutsch.
Zoe Deutsch and Set It Up.
Yeah.
For me, it was just come and go. I'm not going to remember that movie.
Yeah, but
anything about
see,
that movie in 5 years.
Set It Up made me feel good while I watched it.
Oh, it didn't for me. I was just kind of like, me.
What are you?
That movie was
heartless,
just
dude?
a vibration. That movie was just for 2 hours. Like,
That's weird.
yeah, it came and went.
All right.
Venom. I felt like Venom, like each scene was like 1 to 2 decisions away from being a really good movie.
I actually agree with that. Yes,
And I think-
this movie could have been good.
and I think
Yeah.
so. There was some stuff that came out before the movie even.
Well,
was
let me take
released.
that back. I think this movie could have been good through the first 2 acts. I think in the end was always destined to be just a.
I think we don't know. There's a lot of this movie that is fucking missing.
That's true. There was 40 minutes on the cutting room
So,
floor,
yeah.
according to Tom Hardy.
Yeah, according to Tom Hardy,
Yeah.
his 40 minutes
Favorite
of the,
minutes, according to him.
yeah, his favorite 40 minutes of the film were left on the cutting room floor. And I feel like you can see that the most because there's a part at the end of the movie where Venom's like, "You changed me to sort
It
of
makes
become-"
no fucking sense.
Makes no fucking sense because there's been no.
They do a whole character
connection.
switch, and it makes no sense.
It's like Venom just instantly.
Not only does Venom already not make sense, Venom is like a edgy teenager for no reason.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. They go from being a mysterious alien organism that no one understands to once he goes into Tom Hardy, he's an edgy teenager.
Okay, so the ultimate flaw I think with this movie is that it's like intending to be a comedy.
Yeah,
I don't like, and this movie is like
It just
it's
does a bad
not
job of
funny.
it.
So there's a lot
No,
of
it's
like
not funny
bad.
at all.
There's a lot of bad movies that are unintentional comedies
Mm-hmm.
that like end up being really funny because they're trying to be serious and
Yep.
they just can't achieve it. Like The Room, it's an incredible unintentional comedy,
Mm-hmm.
whereas Venom is like intending to like shoehorn levity into this.
I read that
serious.
they literally referenced specific comedy films as like inspiration for the comedy.
Why do that with this
Because
character?
every Marvel movie has comedy,
I don't
so they're trying to
care.
fit that.
I don't care if every other Marvel movie has comedy.
You asked me why. I'm just telling you why they did it.
I'm not. I'm not saying, but I'm saying I don't care. That's not how that they should approach it, right?
Can I go one step further and
Go
say a Venom solo movie should not be approached before Spider-Man?
I think it should. I think that it could be amazing. I'm a lot more open-minded with like the inclusion
I
of having
have
a solo
two
Venom
ways
movie.
that I would accept you making a Venom solo movie. Number one is a space movie where John Jameson goes into space and almost like The Thing, the symbiote kills his crew one by one and then hitches a ride on his spaceship back to Earth.
That's Alien.
It's Alien, or like that movie Life that came out recently that I never saw,
Yeah.
but I saw that and I was like, that's what Venom would be like. Or you wait until after he fights Spider-Man and Spider-Man beats Eddie Brock, who's not a heroic character, and you let Flash Thompson become Agent Venom. And then it's weird, but I'd be like, okay, that's going to be some weird stuff.
I feel like you're being
I'm attached to the source material.
you love Spider-Man.
I love Spider-Man.
You love Spider-Man, and I think that you might be being a little bit narrow-minded as far as like the capabilities of having a really good fucking Venom solo movie.
Maybe.
I think that it could be done, and I think that they were fucking like this close to making a good one. And
I think
ended
they were
up making a bad.
I think there were several times when they were this close to having a good scene, and by the end, it makes them this close to having a good movie.
So another weird thing, and it comes out with like them intending to be a comedy, they are intending to make a good movie, but they just
Not everyone
fucking-
intends to make a good movie.
I think there's a lot more laziness in Hollywood than
I don't think it ever comes from the actual creative
let me
teams.
let
I
me
think maybe
rewind. Let me
from
rewind.
production.
Okay. What Tom Hardy is doing with his approach to Eddie Brock, right?
Makes no sense.
It is fucking bizarre, right?
It makes no sense. It's so weird.
So-
Tom Hardy can do an American accent. We know that. This isn't like him not being good at an American accent. It's just a weird choice.
And that's what this movie is filled with. It's misguided choices. Tom Hardy, like normally when you have these huge tentpole fucking blockbuster movies, your lead character is doing the exact opposite of what Tom Hardy is doing, right? Like if you are going to have a lead character that your audience is going to live through, he's not going to have this like weird way of speaking, which also
It makes no sense. Dude, he's a television
He's a
reporter.
television reporter. That's another weird approach to why Tom Hardy made this
This is the
decision.
Block Report.
This is this is the Block Report, and I'm Eddie Block.
Oh, man.
Yeah, why would he talk like that if he were a TV reporter? Because diction is so important to being a fucking TV reporter. Like it would be different if he was just doing the written word. You know, like if he was just writing newspaper articles, then it would have been fine. If like,
Well, yeah, that's like Woody Page on Around the Horn. That dude sounds like a crazy person when he talks, but he's a sports writer, so no one cares. That's to do with the chalkboard if you watch Around the Horn. Shout out.
But it's still fucking fascinating to me. Like I still so
Get to the fascinating part.
what do I think was fascinating?
Yeah.
Right. What Al Pacino or what Eddie,
What
God
Tom
damn
Hardy
it,
does
what Tom
as Eddie
Hardy
Brock?
was doing as Eddie Brock was basically fucking Al Pacino in Dog Day Afternoon.
Okay.
It was weird as fuck. He's doing this weird voice thing that like it was fucking exemplary in fucking Al Pacino's earlier work.
Okay.
And it's fascinating.
Not only is his voice weird,
I really enjoyed watching him act.
I liked
but
watching
it just
him-
doesn't fit
I
in
liked-
that kind of movie.
I liked him early in the movie when he was like personable with people. Like you could see the things that made him good at his job. He was very personable with like random people he met. He was funny in a weird way. He was very cut to the center of what's happening all the time. And then once the movie kicked off, they kind of just threw it all to the wayside, and he became a bumbling, sweaty man.
Now, did you not like the bumbling sweaty man part?
No.
I did. I liked the unraveling of Eddie Brock. I wanted
it
more
didn't
of
feel-
that,
it
but
didn't
I just thought it
feel
was
like-
executed poorly.
It didn't feel like unraveling. It just felt like bumbling. I know that it was intended as unraveling.
So So there were.
Although I
certain
will
parts.
say, I like the scene where he sat in the lobster cage.
You like that scene?
I thought that was silly.
No, I thought that was dumb.
I thought that was silly.
I thought that was dumb. See, to me, that
Not the whole scene. I just thought that specific thing was funny.
I will like the bumbling thing that you. I was going to use that as an example of
Oh, the
what
whole
I did
scene he's
not
bumbling
like.
around.
I did not like that shit. What like the stuff that I did like was and the entirety of that movie, I was like, this movie could be so fucking good. That's why like I'm a little bit like I'm almost like kind of offended when like you say like, oh, don't approach a Venom movie, because I'm like, this movie could be so fucking good. It could be so interesting.
I think
especially if you started like diving into more of the psychology of Eddie Brock. There is so much more like wealth of material that you could do as far as like him, his subconscious and the symbiote attaching itself to that subconscious.
So,
and you could like
yes,
that weird giving the character making Venom like sound like a fucking like angsty teenager, you know, and like being that having this weird sense of humor and shit that could be attached to fucking Eddie Brock's anger, you know, like have him show flaws and everything. He doesn't have to be like. There was a lot of like weird, which I don't like when Tom Hardy does this. I don't think that Tom Hardy was like Tom Hardy didn't fit this character in the way that it was written, right?
No.
You know, like the part in the elevator where he's like, he says like, "Oh, so it's aliens, like ET phone home."
Yeah.
He like makes a joke like that, and I'm like, that's not Tom Hardy, that's Ryan Reynolds. Let him do that. Like, what I want from Tom Hardy is a fucking like an emotionally deep character.
So we keep bringing up. It seems like each episode, one of my favorite actors. We talked about Michael B. Jordan. We talked about Sam Rockwell. Tom Hardy's another one. I love Tom Hardy. And the specific thing about Tom Hardy that I think separates him from other actors is the way that he dominates the screen physically, as well as with his character work. But physically, the dude is dominating of the screen when he's on a scene, in a scene with someone. He's so good at eating up space with his body language and stuff like that. And I think that I don't want to say that he's bad in this movie. He's not. He's doing what he is being told to do. It's just weird. Or not being told to do. He's doing what he's trying to do, and he's doing it well. It just, like you're saying, it doesn't fit. It's weird.
Yeah.
I don't understand why it's there.
But okay, so like I'm going to continue comparing this movie to a movie like Set It Up, because like I feel like Set It Up is it's on our minds.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty clear because we just watched it recently.
And we did an episode
But
on it.
also, like, it is sort of the antithesis of what I think Venom is, right? So
it's the opposite of safe.
fucking Venom is like Michael Porter Jr., right? And like Set It Up is like just has a very low ceiling, right? Like it's like I don't want to say Luka Doncic because it has a higher floor.
Yeah.
It has a higher floor. But Set It Up is its ceiling of what it could be is like the best that it could be is like When Harry Met Sally. When Harry Met Sally is a good movie, but even that is like being more creative with the medium than Set It Up is. The Set It Up is just so like
Cookie cutter.
it's so cookie cutter. I'm gonna hit a single
Yeah.
and get to first base, and like whatever. We're just gonna play the odds there. Like Venom is trying to achieve a lot more, and like it just fucking it fumbles.
So okay, would you equate that?
And
to
I would
the fact-
argue that Tom Hardy's fucking performance as Eddie Brock is so much better, so much more compelling than
The movie he's in.
anything that happens.
Oh
in
yeah, certainly.
Set It Up.
He's certainly the most. Oh yeah. Well yeah. Okay. Would you equate them trying too hard to the fact that they knew Venom had to succeed
What do you mean?
monetarily?
What
If
do you
Venom did really well at the box office, sadly. Makes me very upset. Dude, it makes me sad because they might take Spider-Man back from the MCU. That's why it makes me upset.
That's true.
It's stupid. The whole thing is stupid. The whole thing is just stupid. But would you equate the fact that they maybe tried too hard, tried to do too much weird stuff because Venom had to be good in terms of making money? Because if Venom didn't do well, they then couldn't do any of their other whack movies they're trying to make. Black Cat, Silver Sable, Morbius the Living Vampire, Kraven the Hunter. There's more. All these whack movies that are all just Spider-Man villains. They're just Spider-Man villains. And they want to make a movie for every one of them because it's all they have. They're trying to launch their own connected universe of Spider-Man villains without Spider-Man in it.
So, what is your distaste with them making a Spider-Man villain solo?
Spider-Man's
movie?
not there.
Just because Spider-Man. So
Spider-Man
say if-
isn't there.
So say if
You want to know what makes Venom even more, Eddie Brock specifically, even more interesting? Is his relationship to Spider-Man and Peter Parker. Way more interesting. Peter looks up to Eddie Brock as this hotshot reporter, and on the side, Eddie Brock becomes slandered in his work because of him misidentifying a villain, and Spider-Man reveals the real identity of the villain. That in turn ruins Eddie Brock's career and sends him into a downward spiral of suicidal depression, all while Spider-Man is the one wearing the symbiote.
it's fucking really interesting. It's interesting shit, but I feel like you're failing to see the potential compelling nature of Eddie Brock
I just
by
don't
himself.
care about it until after Spider-Man has the symbiote.
Well, I also like so you're like Spider-Man has to be involved in order for it to be a compelling story.
No, I could be proven wrong, obviously.
But
I know that I could be
but
proven
proof
wrong.
hasn't exist. Like there is no precedent for you to care yet.
Yeah, exactly.
So there
They
has to be
tried when they
precedent
were like
in
Tom
order-
Hardy's in this movie. They tried. I was like, oh, word, Tom Hardy, word, could be interesting. But all these characters, this whole idea, it's like a Batman villain. It's the same thing. Like the two best rogues galleries in comics are Batman and Spider-Man.
But like their
the villains
greatest crime,
and their origins are connected to the hero.
but their greatest crime is just not making a good movie. That's it.
For Venom,
Yeah,
sure,
it's just not.
Yeah, it's just
making a
not good.
movie.
but just not good is exactly what I expected.
For it to be not
Good.
Right.
Yeah. We haven't even talked about Riz Ahmed yet.
Okay, how do you feel like the character as well as his performance? How'd you feel about it?
Riz Ahmed?
Hmm?
Blah.
Blah.
Blah. The character,
Okay, so I actually liked his character.
dude, the idea of super genius who wants to save the world but is a psychopathic evil person about it.
Yeah.
Miss me with that.
You think it's too tropey?
It's been done.
Mm-hmm.
It's boring and it's
I don't find it boring at all.
just it's inconceivable. What's that from? That's from something. I don't know what. It's just like if that dude is that smart, surrounded by all these other smart people, what's happening? Like he's straight up murdering people constantly, constantly, and one person tries to stop that from happening.
Yeah,
Are you
it's
kidding me?
It's poorly executed.
Are you kidding me with that?
Yeah.
Jenny Slate, who is just like there.
I actually really like Jenny Slate's performance too. Like there's a lot of things that just that draw me.
None of the
into
actors
movie.
are bad. None of the actors are bad.
So I wouldn't even like say that the characters themselves are bad too. I think that there's a good movie in this movie. I think that they like you could re-edit this movie. You put in that 40 minutes or whatever. You take out certain parts that were in there, like that whole the scene with his neighbor and fucking doing the
that
playing
was
the
dumb.
guitar.
Yeah.
I was like, that's fucking stupid. Take that shit out.
Was
of
that just trying to like hit us over the head with the Sonic thing?
Like-
I don't.
I think they were trying to do that, and they were also trying to like just show that he was angry and shit.
Yeah.
But like, it was.
Tom Hardy's a really good actor. We know he's angry.
But like so Eddie Brock is literally at the rock bottom of his life and his career and everything. Like he lost his relationship, lost his job, and he said that he had to move into a new apartment, which they don't think they even showed that. They were
Yeah, they did. Him moving or the new apartment?
him moving.
No, they did a 6-month time jump.
Yeah, and like, did you notice that immediately? Did it
Time
say?
jump?
Did
Yeah,
it say?
said 6 months later.
Oh, I didn't even recognize that, dude.
They showed the Life Foundation and it said 6 months later.
Oh, I legit didn't
establishing
even
shot.
like.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was like looking away from the screen or something. Like when that came on.
No, you missed that, dog.
Yeah, because like I was like, wait, when he approached Michelle Williams at her fucking apartment or whatever, I was like, wait, how much fucking time has passed? I thought it was like a week.
Nah.
Anyways, there is a good movie in there, right? I think that if you put in that 40 minutes, it could be re-edited to be.
You don't know what's in that
fucking-
40 minutes. What if Tom Hardy just
Maybe.
really liked the dumb Venom?
Maybe. I don't know. But like, I would guess that the 40 minutes that was taken out of that movie was all of the stuff that was the interplay between Eddie Brock and Venom, which I actually kind of liked. To me, that was him
Like their little back and forth?
Yeah, in certain parts, I was like, "That's fucking dumb." Like it's because of their approach, because they were constantly subverting like this potential really gripping drama with stupid comedy.
It seemed to me like every emotional jump that we make in their relationship together comes from literally nothing. There's no reason for it to happen. There's no reason for them to go from point A to point B, from point B to point C in their relationship. It just happens. Venom just decides, I like you now. Venom just decides, I will stop eating people. It's just like for no reason.
It's stupid as fuck.
Yeah.
It's stupid as fuck. I completely agree with you there. But like, there's certain parts like when Venom is like looking into Eddie Brock's face and he tells him like, "I'm going to continue eating people and you might survive."
Yeah, that was good.
Like, I liked that.
That was good.
That is shit that, like, I think if I were to change anything about this movie, I would change the approach. Stop fucking approaching it like a comedy, you know? And I think that, like, I think that they were a little bit, I think that the reason for why it was probably a bad movie and why they approached it the way they did was not because they were relying on it being, you know, like this sort of tentpole for all of these other weird shits, but like, I think that they were afraid to make a really dark movie.
No, I
And,
think that's
like,
completely right, because I
yeah.
think what they tried to do, because they knew the movie had to be successful, is they tried to make a Marvel movie. And it just proves that maybe it's not as easy as people think it is.
Right.
Because every movie Marvel makes is good, and people just assume it's an easy process, and they've figured out how to do it. And they have. Kevin Feige has figured it out. He knows how to make every movie, at the very least, enjoyable, like
Right.
a good 2-hour experience. This shows it's not easy. There's a balance to that levity that Marvel brings to their movies with the other stuff.
But do you think that any other Marvel characters that exist in the MCU right now are similar in the tone that you should approach with Venom?
No, because Venom is a villain.
Venom is a villain and he's dark, but like, so.
Unless you want-
calling him a villain, so, like, he's somewhere. I would say, if I were to approach it, right, like, he's somewhere in between villain and anti-hero.
He changes throughout history.
Right,
He's
and
been both.
and whatever semantics you want to use, right? Every villain that you write should be the hero of their own story, correct? That's
Yeah.
just good writing principle, right?
Yeah.
And it's something that
I think
like,
that applies more to Eddie than Venom. Venom is just an alien that wants to eat.
true.
He's a parasite. I don't want to offend him,
And
but he's a parasite.
I also don't know as much about the source material. Also, like, I'm not sure if that symbiote can, like, emotionally connect with its host. I don't know, and I don't know, like, what,
I would say yes.
like, where does it get its thoughts from?
No
you know,
idea.
because obviously, like, this fucking
They're an-
thing that moves around.
It's a sentient creature.
It is sentient.
Yeah.
It obviously, like, moves and stuff like that. But does it have thoughts?
Yes.
Okay, it does have
Yeah.
like thoughts. It can't speak. Obviously,
It can
can't-
speak to its host
It can speak to its host.
and through its host. That's why when he suits up, he talks like Venom, not like Eddie Brock.
Okay. I forgot where I was going with this.
I don't know.
What were we just talking? We were talking about the MCU. Okay. It just, I mean, the reason that you shouldn't be, like, approaching it like a comedy is just because he's a fucking villain, and, like, you should be approaching it with more emotional depth and
So-
trying to push the dichotomy between Eddie Brock and Venom.
I think that you are right about that point. You should be, the center point of your movie should be the relationship, and you should make it organic, believable, and not
and tragic.
Make
Make it fucking tragic. The
and
fact
not-
that Eddie Brock is fucking stuck to this thing
Yeah.
that is eating people
and
needs
him
to be
and him
huh?
and him.
And it's like, is it supposed to be killing him?
Yeah, it was his heart was failing.
So it was failing him in the movie, right?
He gets
I
cancer from it in the comics.
Think, okay.
So yes.
See, I'm playing like screenwriter right now, which like, should I do that? Should I not? I can't help myself.
Yeah.
But I would make it the opposite thing. I would say that if you're going to have a really compelling Eddie Brock Venom movie, right? Eddie Brock needs to be reliant on the symbiote in order for his own health.
So
right?
Eddie Brock gets sick, symbiote can save him.
Exactly.
So he keeps
this
the symbiote.
literally this symbiote is something that's keeping him alive, and literally their symbiosis, like, is something that helps both things, right? If it's actually killing him, then then Venom is a parasite.
Yeah.
And I think that makes it so much more compelling because you have Eddie Brock saying, like, if I don't fucking have this thing, then I'm going to die.
Yeah.
But he's going to continue killing people.
Yeah, he's going to keep eating people.
I find that so much more compelling, and it makes Eddie Brock so much more of a compelling character. And plus, you still have a villain. That is still a fucking really compelling villain. You know, somebody that fucking Spider-Man has to, will have to fight.
And it's less that he has to stop Eddie and more that he has to stop Venom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he's going to
And
be...
that fits, if Spider-Man's, If Spider-Man's around for that, that's going to affect Pete so much.
Yeah.
Because he's going to want to save Eddie's life.
Yeah. But how can he do it without
But
compromising who
guess
Eddie
what?
is?
Spider-Man's not in this movie.
But he could be. Like, I don't...
No, he can't. Legally, he can't.
Not... Okay, so...
If you want to play screenwriter, you gotta fit the parameters of what you're given.
All right, so he can't be it in this movie, but you were just talking about how they might take Spider-Man back from the MCU, correct?
It could happen.
So he can.
Down the line, it could
So
happen
he
after... What? 2022 or something? Something like that? After Avengers 4 comes out? So 2021, something like that. They already established the sequel.
But you can't say like, oh, they could potentially take back Spider-Man from the MCU and then say,
I thought you were talking about this movie specifically.
No,
this movie already exists.
Movie specifically exists. You know that you have to make a solo Venom movie without fucking Spider-Man. And
yeah.
I do not. I feel like it's very narrow-minded to say, oh, it doesn't have Spider-Man, doesn't have Peter Parker, therefore we should not approach it. We cannot make a compelling movie.
Okay.
I find that really,
sure.
really narrow-minded.
You can make a Venom movie. I just don't care about it. Unless you, I don't care about it until you execute it well. So I'm not saying you can't do it.
You're also like a lot more like.
I'm more invested in what it comes from than you are.
True, you're more invested in what it comes from, but like I feel like your nature aids to you liking Spider-Man more than you would. Like,
well, obviously, I'm going to like Spider-Man more than I'm going to like Venom.
I love the idea of.
I'm not disinterested in the idea
like
of a tragic character.
The
like
reason
that.
I'm kind of getting like precious with this idea is because it's so fucking closely linked to the themes of Lunatic Fringe. Like that idea of being possessed by a thing that you cannot control.
It's an elaborate werewolf.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's an elaborate werewolf.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
It's an alien werewolf.
Yeah.
I forgot what I was going to say. It made me think of alien werewolves. That sounds cool.
Well, apparently they don't sound cool because
okay. You can make a Venom movie without Spider-Man. But are you interested in this idea of creating a connected universe of Spider-Man villains without Spider-Man around?
And the biggest thing that sucks, like I would say even more than their inability to create a good Venom movie, is the fact that like you have all of these fucking legal and contractual obligations between Sony and Disney and the Marvel MCU, and we can't connect this character with this character because this is owned, but and like you see that with fucking X-Men, like fucking like. Oh, Deadpool is owned by Fox, therefore like
that's all over now.
So
Disney has everything except Spider-Man's villains. That's it.
So that's the only thing that they're
Sony's the only one left with anything.
Okay.
Wait, I take that back. Universal has the rights to solo Hulk movies. That's why they can't make solo Hulk movies.
That's weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't really keep up with it because it's exhausting to me, and it's always changing. And like I see announcements and trailers for the next movies that are coming out, and I'll get excited for those individual movies, and that's it.
But I think when there's a bigger picture, these things become important.
Yeah,
because if the MCU is anything, it's a bigger picture. How are things going to move forward? They're already in the trailers establishing Captain Marvel as taking over Chris Evans' Captain America's spot as that sort of centerline figure, the captain. Because he's done. After Avengers 4, he's done. No more Steve. That makes me real sad. I'm going to miss Chris Evans as Captain America.
Like, how do you approach like the MCU and like the current like reigning that is Disney and Marvel, and taking all of these huge actors and signing up to these contracts where they can't really be involved with other smaller movies, like movies
I don't think
that
it's necessarily
could
true.
Okay.
I think that some of them are signed on to lots of movies. Like Sebastian Stan famously signed a 9-movie deal. But he was in I, Tonya.
Right.
You're filming essentially one movie every year is what it. Actors film more than one movie all the time a year. Actors can film up to 3 or 4 movies a year.
Right.
Being in one Marvel movie a year isn't stopping you from doing other stuff. It's just giving you tons of money so you don't have to do anything else if you don't want to. Chris Evans, since he became Captain America, has directed, I think, 2 films. And that's what he wants to focus on moving forward.
Once he gets out of them,
he's talked about how he wants to focus on directing more.
Mm-hmm.
Now he has signed on to Rian Johnson's new movie. That
the
Two Knives
Knives Out.
Knives, yeah, which has a really interesting cast building around it.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to see where Chris Evans goes. And, Robert Downey Jr. has done other movies. He was in The Judge and he was in Chef. They're not being stopped from doing other stuff. Mm-hmm. Tom Holland he comes out in 2 movies every year since he became Spider-Man. I don't think that that's an argument about, making the actors too busy.
But I think that there is a differing perspective out there, right? There's a lot of people that are just getting exhausted with Marvel movies.
I think people say that, but then, Avengers comes out and it makes more money than ever. And
but I also don't think that the general moviegoers are like those type of people. And I feel like I kind of straddle the fence there because I really do get when I hear about fucking Spider-Man coming out, like I love Spider-Man Homecoming.
They just wrapped the sequel.
Oh my, dude, like I loved it. And there's a lot of movies Marvel movies that I really enjoy watching and I really look forward to. But at the same time, I'm like, is Brie Larson making Captain Marvel taking her away from like making another movie like Room? How. Because you only have a certain amount of time.
So
and you can say that like, oh, well, you can make other movies in that year. Yeah. But, say if you're doing one independent movie and then one Marvel movie. One, Captain Marvel, right? Maybe you could do 3 independent movies in that exact same time. It's not
are you saying that let's take Brie Larson as a specific example.
Right.
Is making Room more important than making Captain Marvel? Because I think to a cultural zeitgeist, it's not.
I think that
specifically Captain Marvel.
Well, I think that for we're getting to like weird territory here as far as like what movies should be, and I think that obviously the market dictates that Marvel movies are more important, because that's just capitalism.
They make more money.
Yeah. Therefore, there's going to be more of
making money. They're more important. Mm-hmm.
But in order to experiment with the medium, in order to push the medium to do things that are greater, like you need smaller independent movies. You need to see fresh ideas and fresh perspectives and stuff like that. Like and they kind of nurture each other too. Would something like Black Panther be able to exist if Moonlight didn't exist, or if there wasn't
Fruitvale Station specifically because of Ryan Coogler? Because I'm going to throw this at you.
Fruitvale Station.
I'm going to throw this at you.
Yeah.
I think that since maybe after Avengers 2, maybe after Joss Whedon left the MCU, I think that Marvel has given more individual power to its directors.
Yeah.
And I think they've been specifically getting those types of people. Taika Waititi's. Ryan Coogler, yeah. These types of people who have specific tones and visions that they portray and ideas that they portray that are indie movie ideas, and they fit them into blockbuster films. James Gunn is another one, even though he's gone.
Right.
And I think the reason I'm talking about this I think that culturally, Captain Marvel might end up being the most important Marvel character yet.
Because
she's the first female-led Marvel movie.
Right.
And us as, white dudes maybe can't attach to that the way half the world can.
True.
But I think that's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be... Remember culturally what happened when Black Panther came out?
Yeah.
How huge it was?
Right.
I think that's going to happen again with Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I do think that's important.
With the reason that political stuff.
Yeah, and the reason that I'm positing this question isn't because I believe that Marvel movies should not exist.
No, obviously,
I just think that
them.
Yeah, and I think that it is important, and I feel like you're always going to have this balance. Of independent movies versus,
certainly.
And there's a lot of things that independent movies are have always been doing. They're always pushing the medium. They're always being more experimental.
Yep.
They're always
There's also
being more inclusive to perspective.
There's also more they can do. Yeah, there's more that you can approach in an indie movie than you can in a blockbuster film. Because a blockbuster has to try to be palatable to everybody. And that inherently is going to lower the quality of certain things. Trying to be vanilla. But I think that specifically the MCU has found a way to be that type of movie while putting in other flavors. They're putting toppings on the ice cream.
Well, and I think that they're kind of recognizing the ridiculous idea that, like, in order to hit all these 4 quadrants and hitting all of these demographics, that you can still, you can still have an entertaining movie for all of those demographics while having a Captain Marvel movie.
Yeah. While,
like, giving a voice to a perspective that isn't normally in these kinds of movies.
We've gone a long way from Venom.
True.
I think
that's right. We're doing a fucking Venom.
I think what we're talking
episode,
about
right?
is more interesting than Venom, and that's the problem. I think that we can agree in wrapping up the Venom idea. We both agree that Venom is not good and could have been way better.
Yeah. Well, like, yeah, I definitely agree. I keep comparing it to basketball players and shit like that. Like, but like it is to me, like Venom is like a Grant Hill, you know, like is someone who like fucking like could have been really good and like could have helped me out a lot on the Orlando Magic, but like was essentially crippled.
Yeah.
You know, for his entire career. Yeah. So to me, like I was really into what the ideas that Venom could bring about, and I don't know.
They just didn't.
Yeah, it was a poorly executed movie. It's not a good movie.
Yeah. I'd probably give it a 3 or 4 on our scale.
Yeah. For me, it's hard to gauge because, like I said, like I think that Set It Up is a better movie. It's a better movie.
You just rather watch a movie like Venom.
But I would, if I had to, like, if I were a producer and I had to put my money on fucking a movie like Venom, like that's going to try and shake things up a little bit versus something like Set It Up, then I'm gonna do Venom.
No, I don't blame you for that. I don't think enough production, especially the big ones, take enough risks with stuff. You have any other final?
It kind of just completely went off.
Yeah, you were at your computer for like 2 hours last night doing research and stuff.
Well, I was also doing research. I'm not even gonna bring up like certain ideas. Yeah, I did like 2 hours of research. It's eventually not going to go into this episode. But fuck it, whatever.
You're going to another episode. Sometime down the line.
So I feel like it's kind of similar to Fantastic Four.
Which one?
The most recent Fantastic Four.
Could have been good, but wasn't.
And it's almost like when you're watching it, I was like, there's something. Like this could have been a good movie, you know. Like this
I agree with you. When I watch Fantastic Four, I think it's specifically the cast that makes you believe that because they were compelling enough through their performances, and they're all such good actors that are in that movie that just scenes of them just bouncing off each other make you believe in them specifically. But I think Fantastic Four's greatest sin is nothing happens. Stuff happens in Venom. It's just nonsense. Just a whole bunch of nonsense is going on.
And like they're also very similar as far as like there was creative the creatives behind the creative tension, but there was people that came out before the movie even was released that said, oh, you know, like it was supposed to be this movie.
Tom Hardy
this
separated himself from this movie before it was even released.
Exactly, and the same thing happened to
was it Miles Teller?
No, Miles Teller got into.
Well, he got into a fight with Josh Trank on set.
Josh Trank was the one that
and then
came out
Josh Trank said that
they wouldn't allow me in the editing room.
They basically reshot his whole movie. Yeah. Yeah, the Fantastic Four was just a mess. That was bad. Anything else?
It should be rated R for sure.
The
idea
is it not? Is it rated anything?
Is it rated anything? What do you mean?
Like, was it PG-13?
I'm pretty sure it was PG-13.
I feel like
they said shit, but they didn't say.
He said fuck at one point.
When did he say fuck?
He was in the suit.
Are you allowed one fuck?
Yeah, that's basically. You can get away with one fuck in a PG-13 movie now.
I Either way, it didn't. I feel like if it was rated R, it would have been like.
I feel like it
would
might have been
known that it was. Rated
if it
R.
was rated R, they could have done like every time he eats someone, they cut away, and
Yeah.
obviously the language. It was probably PG-13. It definitely could have been better if it was R, which I'm surprised with the success of Deadpool that they didn't make an R-rated movie. But again, I think that goes back to trying to emulate the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to grab that same audience.
Yeah, I feel like there was like certain. There's certain like just the normal things that you get with bad movies are in this movie too, like weird clunky exposition.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like when you have like Eddie Brock that like he's going through something and he's like, oh, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
Like, oh, my legs were just broken and now they're not broken
Yeah.
anymore. It's just really stupid shit
Yeah.
like that really annoys me. As far as like clunky exposition, as well as like weird pacing, which is why like I think that like, you know, what went on with those 40 minutes that were taken out of the movie, and plus like
How important was it?
this movie might be an edit away from being at least an average movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. The stages of filmmaking are all important. Editing is like the special teams of movie making.
Editing is like the special teams of
Because
movie
there's three
making.
phases to football. There's offense, defense, and then people forget about the special teams.
Right.
But guess what? When your kicker misses the game-winning field goal, you're reminded how important special teams are. Right?
Yeah.
When your editor doesn't edit well, you're reminded how important editing is.
All right. I think we should end on that note.
Yeah? We should end on that? All right. Go see Venom if you feel like it. You might like it. I mean, a lot of people like it.
Yeah, it's at like
A lot of people
it's
like
currently
it.
sitting with like an 85% from the
Audience, it's like a 7 on IMDb. People
the,
like it.
The general, like, we are anomalies. Like,
We're in the minority, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've seen kind of online, I've seen kind of an equal. I think people that like movies more don't like it.
Right.
People that are more casual,
Mm-hmm.
your average everyday dad,
Mm-hmm.
or, you know, high school kid who likes action flicks,
Right.
they're going to like this movie.
True.
With that being said, we out.
We out. Stay weird.